Good morning, students. We have started body movements chapter. We have come up to the point of joints. We are able to bend or rotate our arms or legs at some specific places. At these specific places, the arms and legs, they appear to be joined to their next part. Okay. At our elbow, both our forearm and hind arm appear to be joined. So, this is the forearm and this is the hind arm, right? So this is the elbow, right? So at elbow, forearm and hind arm appear to be joined, and at this joint we are able to move this forearm back and forth. So here to here, like this, we can just make a movement. We are able to turn our head back and forth and can bend our head front and back. We are able to rotate our fist or palm and can rotate our feet also to some extent. So we can bend our fingers also in one direction. At shoulders, we can rotate our hand. At hip, we can rotate our legs. So, at some specific places, we are able to rotate our arms and legs in different directions. And at these specific places, our legs and arms appear to be joined. Right? To what? To their next part. Like just now I have told. Our forearm appear to be joined to hind arm. Okay, or our hind arm appear to be joined to our forearm. So, all of the moving parts seem or appear to be joined together. To their next parts. At some specific places. And these places are called joints. So what are joints? The places where two parts of our body seem to be joined together. What are joints? The places where two parts of our body seem or appear to be joined together. You know, joints. Examples. How many examples you are having? Elbow, knee, wrist, ankle, right? Shoulder, neck, hip, etc. So at all these places, okay, the body parts, they appear to be joined together. Without joints, our movements are not possible in our body. Without joints, movements are not possible in our body. If we press our body parts, like if you take your hand, right? Assume that. If you press here, if you press here, you will feel a hard structure inside that part. The hard structure present in all parts of our body is known as bone. If you press from either back side or front side, okay, you can feel hard structure inside the body parts. The hard structure present in all parts of our body is known as bone. So at joints also, okay, at joints what will happen? The end of this, the end part of bone in one part. So here it is hind arm. End part of hind arm bone joins with end part of forearm bones, right? So joints, one bone's end part joins with another bone's end part. One bone's end part join with another bone's end part, like this. So this is joint. Got my point? Right? Actually, to speak, bones are very hard to be bent. Bones are very hard to bend, right? And these hard bones, they are joined together at every joint. These bones are joined together at joints, right? Like elbow, knee, wrist, etc. As I said, at elbow, At elbow, which two bones are joined? Bone of hind arm join with bones of forearm. Bone of hind arm joins with bones of forearm. So this is the hind arm and this is the hind arm and this is the forearm. Assume that. So here this is the hind arm bone, right? And there are two bones in forearm. So the hind arm bone is joining with the forearm bones here, right? In the same way, at knee, bone of hind leg joins with bones of foreleg. Okay, so you take our leg. So this is foreleg. This is hind leg. The bone of this hind leg, it is joining with the bones of foreleg, right? So like this here, the bones are joined together. There are many bones in each part of the body. There are many bones in each part of the body. We can bend or move our body parts only at the joints. We can bend or move our body parts only at the joints. We can bend or move our body parts only at the joints. There are different types of joints in our body. And these all joints help us to carry out different movements. Now let us learn what are the different types of joints found in our body. The different types of joints in our body are different types of joints in our body are ball and socket joint, pivotal joint, hinge joint. These are three different types of joints that allow the movement, movement. And there is one more type of joint called fixed joint. Fixed joints. These do not allow the movement. Do not allow the movement. So there are totally 4 types of joints: ball and socket joint, pivotal joint, hinge joint, and fixed joint. And out of these 4, 3 allow the movement and 1 will not allow the movement. What is ball and socket joint? What is ball and socket joint? The joint that allows the movement of its attached bones in all directions. The joint that allows the movement of its attached bones, the movement of its attached bones in all directions. It is known as ball and socket joint. Example: shoulder and hind arm joint, hip and hind leg joint. Shoulder and hind arm joint. Next, hip and hind leg joint. So these are the 2 examples. Right? This type of joint is formed by the fitting of rounded end of one bone into the cavity of the other bone. So, how ball and socket joint is formed? Here, hip joint, shoulder, you take shoulder bone, end of the shoulder bone will be having a cavity. End of the shoulder bone will be having a hollow rounded cavity. In this, the rounded end of the hind arm bone, it will be joining. Cavity. This is the cavity of one bone with the rounded end of other bone. Cavity of one bone, rounded end of another bone. Ball and socket joint, it is formed by the fitting of rounded end of one bone into the cavity or hollow space of other bone. Okay, it is formed by the fitting of rounded end of one bone into the cavity. This is cavity means hollow space. Okay, of another bone. So ball and socket joint, how it is formed? It is formed by the fitting of rounded end of one bone into the cavity of another bone. Rounded end of one bone into the cavity of another bone. when it is fitting, automatically ball and socket joint is formed, right? Next, pivotal joint. The joint at where the neck joins the head. Pivotal joint. What is pivotal joint? The joint where neck joins the head. Joint where neck joins the head. It allows the movement of our head forward and backward and turning of our head from left to right and from right to left. It allows the movement of our head forward and backward, and turning of our head left to right and from right to left. Turning of our head left to right and right to left. So this is pivotal joint. What is the difference between a ball and socket joint and a pivotal joint? With ball and socket joint, rotation of our arm in a circular motion is possible. Whereas with pivotal joint, rotation of our head in a circular fashion is not possible. Right? So, you can rotate completely to left and you can rotate completely to right. But from left to right completely, okay, in a circular fashion, you cannot rotate your head. Whereas if you take your hand completely in a circular fashion, you can rotate your hand. So with ball and socket joint, complete circular motion of a hand or leg is possible. Whereas with pivotal joint, left to right and right to left movement is possible, but completely in circular motion movement is not possible with pivotal joint, right? And about next joint, that is hinge joint. What is hinge joint? We all know door hinge. With door hinge, the door can be pushed or pulled in only one direction. So, back and forth movement is possible with door hinge. Same thing. With hinge joint, the attached bones can move only back and forth. The joint that allows its attached bones to move only back and forth. The joint that allows its attached bones only back and forth, right? Means only in one direction the movement is possible, like elbow and knee. So hinge joint, it functions like the hinge of a door. About fixed joints and about skeleton we will discuss in the coming class.